There we go. Members of the audience, there are copies of the agenda in the back if you want to grab one. The meeting of the Kern County Planning Commission is called to order. Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Commissioner Ashley?
Here.
Commissioner Garcia? Here. Commissioner Louie?
Here.
Commissioner Poole?
Here.
Commissioner Sprague?
Here.
Mr. Hall? Ms. Oviatt? Mr. Murphy?
Here.
Thank you.
Here.
Ms. Simon?
Moving on to announcements. Would any commissioner or staff member like to make an announcement or report? Seeing none. You all have received copies of our last meeting. Are there any corrections?
I don't have the last meeting minutes in my package.
It should be in your packet in your brown folder.
Oh, okay. I will look. Okay.
We're good? I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Now we're going to move on to cases withdrawn or requests for continuance. Mr. Murphy?
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the Commission. We have two items this evening that fall under cases withdrawn or request for continuance. The first is GPA 6, map 144, zone change case 26, map 144, PD plan 12, map 144, Ag Preserve number 13 exclusion. The applicant is Mr. and Mrs. Navarro. The staff recommendation is to refer that project back to staff. The second is case number 5, zone change case number 28, map 124-2, PD plan 15, map 124-2. The applicant is Robert Gonzalez Jr. by Porter & Associates. The staff recommendation is to continue that project until April 26, 2018. That completes the reading of the consent calendar.
Thank you. I will entertain a motion regarding items 4 and 5.
Motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Cast your votes, please.
All ayes, motion carries.
Mr. Murphy, are we going to you for the consent agenda?
Yes, we are, Madam Chair. Item number E, consent items. There are 2 cases on consent this evening. These are items scheduled before your commission, which are being recommended for approval by staff, and the applicant has been informed of any special conditions and has no objection. The hearing on these items may be expedited if no member of the commission or audience wishes to comment or ask any questions. The first, case number 1, is TNR Enterprises, LLC. That case is CUP number 7, map number 140. I would advise your commission that you did receive an addendum on this project tonight. We are recommending this case stay on the consent calendar. The purpose for the addendum was to clarify one condition. Kern County Public Works wanted to be very clear what the requirements were in terms of encroachment permits that are needed. And so the addendum that has been provided to your commission revised condition 5B. But again, everything else is the same regarding the proposed project. The case, again, as I mentioned, is conditional use permit 7, map number 140. The applicant is TNR Enterprises. The project is located on the southeast corner of Union Road and South Enos Lane in Dustin Acres area. The request would allow a soil amendment operation not involving liquid chemicals or organic materials, including the blending and distribution in an A district. The staff recommendation with the addendum provided to you this evening is to approve the conditional use permit in accordance with the revised recommended conditions and adopt the suggested findings as set forth in the revised draft resolution. The second case on the consent is case number 3. This is conditional use permit number 37, map 23021, zone variance number 18, map 23021. The applicant is the Immaculate Heart of Mary Traditional Catholic Church by Reverend Dominic Radecki. This project is located at 1746 Locust Street in the Rosamond area. The request before your commission, or the two actions before your commission, is a conditional use permit that would allow a commercial coach to be used as a meeting room exceeding 6 months for an existing church facility in a C2 district. And the project also includes a zone variance to allow the reduction of parking spaces to 13, where 45 spaces are required in a C2 district. The staff recommendation is to approve the conditional use permit subject to the recommended conditions and approve the zone variance subject to recommended conditions and adopt the suggested findings as set forth in the draft resolution. That completes the reading of the consent calendar.
Thank you. Is there any member of the audience that would like to speak on any of these items? If so, they will be removed from the consent agenda and heard in their regular order. Doesn't look like it. Is there any member of the commission that would like to have one of these items heard in their regular order? If not, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Madam Chair, I'd make a motion to approve items 1 and 3 as read into the record by staff.
Second.
Cast your votes, please.
All ayes, motion carries.
Go right ahead.
All right, thank you. So both actions this evening on these items are final unless they're appealed. So I'd like to read the notice of right to appeal. For projects where the Planning Commission action is final, those actions are subject to appeal to the Board of Supervisors by any interested person, and no development proposed by any application may be authorized until after the final date of appeal. An appeal may be filed with the Kern County Planning and Natural Resources Department located at 2700 M Street, Suite 100 in Bakersfield, with a filing fee of $540 on forms available at the Planning and Natural Resources Department. The filing must be made within 14 days of and including the date of this hearing.
Thank you. If you're here for items 1 and 3, your item has been approved and you're welcome to leave unless you want to stick around. Thank you. Okay, the next item on the agenda is public presentations. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons desiring to address the commission on any matter that is not on tonight's agenda over which the commission has jurisdiction. Speakers are limited to 2 minutes. Is there anyone that has a public presentation this evening? Doesn't look like it. Well, moving on to public hearings. Mr. Murphy, are you handling, it's item number 2, I believe?
Madam Chair, yes, I am. I have with me, again to my right, is Ms. Danielle Monsabayas. This project was originally scheduled for consideration by your commission on March 8th, 2018. However, we continued it until today's hearing to allow staff additional time to meet with the adjacent property owners. The specific request is to amend the Western Rosedale specific plan, land use designations and zoning on 39.1 acres of a 78-acre parcel located on the southeast corner of Weegis Avenue and Meacham Road in the Bakersfield or Western Rosedale area. The purpose of the request is to change the land use of the project site that would allow a more dense residential tract in order to facilitate the subdivision of the land and would ultimately create 107 residential parcels. Surrounding properties are a mixture of residential development and vacant and undeveloped agricultural land. Again, the existing site characteristics for the site. Currently, the site has a UER, Urban Estate Residential Map Code designation, and is zoned E1/2 RS. The site itself is Phase 3 of an approved vesting tentative tract map, number 6325. As currently permitted, the existing Phase 3 tract would allow for 52 1/2 acre parcels and would connect to the adjacent subdivision, which is known as the Monterey Ranch Community, via Coastal Court. And if Ms. Monsabayas, if you could point out for the commission where Coastal Court is, only because that will be of something we'll discuss in a little bit later. All right, the inclusion of the RS zoning on this particular site allows the keeping of animals as well. So there are two actions that the applicant has requested at this time. The first is an amendment to the land use, open space, and conservation element of the Western Rosedale specific plan from map code UER to map code SR, or suburban residential. And then they also requested a change in zone classification from E1/2 RS to E1/4. So in a nutshell, the application is a request to change the half-acre lot size designation to quarter-acre lot size for the section of the project site, this 39.1 acres. As proposed, the project would be developed with 107 residential parcels and would connect to Vaughan Water Company and north of the river sanitary district for sewage disposal. Staff has notified all surrounding property owners within 1,000 feet of the project site, affected agencies and county departments. At the time of this writing, we've received 12 comment letters, 6 comment letters from various local agencies, and then 6 comment letters were received from area residents. And in addition to the 6 comments from area residents, staff did receive a petition signed by 69 area residents that were opposed to the half-acre to quarter-acre lot request. So what I'd like to do right now is just kind of identify some of the concerns that have been raised, and then identify how staff has proposed to address these concerns with our recommendation that is in the staff report this evening. So the first issue that was raised from a concern from the adjacent residents were related to traffic impacts that the proposed increase in density would have both on the area streets, and then they're worried about potential cut-through traffic that would go through their community to access the proposed project site. So as part of the application submittal for this project, staff did receive a traffic trip generation analysis that was prepared by Rutgers and Schuler. The ultimate determination of that was that increase from half-acre lots to quarter-acre lots would not create any significant impact from a traffic perspective that wouldn't be addressed based on payment of traffic impact fees that would be required for any house that would be built on the project site. Clearly, though, if you expand a road, there is a potential for cut-through traffic, anytime you extend a road. So what staff is proposing is, assuming this project, or if this project were to be approved, staff would be recommending during the subdivision process that would follow is that the coastal avenue, the applicant would be required to place a crash gate. So the project site itself would have access both on Weegis and Meacham Avenue. The existing Monterey Ranch development currently only has access off Meacham. And so what this crash gate would allow is it would provide 2 points of ingress and egress for the Monterey Ranch community, but by putting a crash gate, it would eliminate any potential cut-through traffic for any residents that would be driving through the Monterey Ranch development to get to the project site. The project site itself would be accessed off of Meacham to the north, or it would come off of Weegis Avenue to the west. So with the inclusion of a crash gate, we believe from a staff perspective that we will have addressed any potential for cut-through traffic because no one would be able to drive through Coastal Avenue to get to the project site, while at the same time meeting the conditions of approval for that tract by allowing multiple points of ingress and egress in case of emergencies. So to address any cut-through traffic, again, during the subdivision process of this project, staff will be recommending that a crash gate be installed on Coastal Avenue. I should advise your commission that the applicant has been made aware of this and has fully agreed to construct this crash gate as part of any of the improvements that they do associated with the proposed tract. The second issue that was identified as a primary concern had to do with lot size compatibility. You have an existing community that has been developed on half-acre parcels, and we had a number of residents that expressed some concern that quarter-acre parcels adjacent to them are not an appropriate designation. Staff looked at this particular issue. We are compelled to look at a number of different things when it comes to land use compatibility. One, we have a requirement to try to, when we can, have for a variety of housing types. So we looked at the quarter-acre lot size and tried to compare it with the half-acre lot size to try to find out if there was any innate incompatibility issues associated with the two. The other issue with this particular case, which is interesting, is the proposed project site, as currently zoned, allows for the keeping of large animals. The existing adjacent property does not have that RS combining district, and therefore they are not allowed to keep the large animals. So in working with the residents, in talking to the project applicant, staff has come up with a unique proposal that we believe helps to address the concerns of both the adjacent residents and helping to ensure and protect the half-acre lot size that they believe they were having their homes built next to, while at the same time allowing the project applicant to increase the density of the proposed tract to help with the ability to ultimately build housing of a variety of types, but then also help to, kind of complete all 3 phases of the proposed tract. So the staff recommendation, it's easier to read it from the staff report. In an effort to address the concerns, staff is recommending, staff is recommending that your commission disapprove the requested specific plan amendment to SR for the most easterly 4.5 acres of the project site and approve a more restrictive change in zone classification from E1/2 RS to E1/2 on the same 4.5 acres. Such actions will create a 150-foot buffer between the existing Monterey Ranch development and any future quarter-acre residential lots proposed by the project applicant. Within this buffer area, the project proponent will construct half-acre lots that will match the existing Monterey Ranch community. Additionally, the elimination of the RS combining district at this location will further provide compatibility between the 2 neighborhoods. Again, I would advise your commission that staff has informed the project proponent of our intended recommendation for your commission, and they are in full support of that recommendation as being presented by staff to your commission today. I would note that subsequent to this staff report being circulated for public review, we did get 1 letter of support for the staff recommendation from adjacent property over in the Monterey Ranch community. So again, in conclusion, staff believes that approval of the requested change in land use designations as recommended by staff would be a logical means to implement the policies of the Western Rosedale specific plan, while at the same time maintaining the rural nature of the Western Rosedale plan area, and at the same time ensuring compatibility between the proposed development and then the adjacent Monterey Ranch community. The last thing I would just like to note, just because many of your commissioners may have gone to the site or you may not have, currently Meacham Road, the north half of Meacham Road, north of the Monterey Ranch development, east of the project site, is not constructed yet. That will be constructed at the time the very first building permit is issued, or prior to it being issued for phase 2 of development. So phase 2 is just north of the project site. So just in case that question comes up, or if your commission was wondering when the improvements of Meacham Road will be finished, it will be done as part of phase 2 of the proposed, or not of the project site, but of phase 2 of the existing tentative tract. So with that, that completes staff's recommendation, and I would be happy to answer any questions that your commission may have.
Commissioner Sprague.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Murphy, I'm aware of the requirement for secondary access in the planning stages of laying out the lots on this, and I suppose that the Crestgate proposal is there to benefit the fire department and police department, emergency vehicles, the sheriff, et cetera. Has the Kern County Fire Department and the Sheriff's Department had a look at this proposal to put a crash gate there?
Commissioner Sprague, through the chair, I know for sure Public Works has, and Public Works is supportive of it. In previous discussions on very similar cases, Chief Marshall has indicated that they are absolutely happy with crash gates and can work with crash gates, and they have a key and they have full support when it comes to the need for crash gates, and it is something that they are comfortable with when it is done as a second point of access.
And this will be looked at upon the final map stage also?
Commissioner Sprague, through the chair, yes, it would. Again, the action before your commission tonight is the general plan and zone change.
Understand that.
And, we are not able to make that as a mitigation or a condition of that. However, the applicant has agreed to it. Staff has already done the pre-coordination, and everybody's on the same page. And so when the track map would come in is when that would fully be implemented. I have talked to the neighboring residents as well. And anybody that provides me a comment letter or a request, we will absolutely make sure that they're notified when that subdivision tract is submitted, so that they will be able to comment as we go through the secondary phase of any potential development of the project site.
That was my next request, so you're ahead of me. So thank you, Mr. Murphy, for that. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Any other questions at this point? Okay. Is the applicant here? Yes. Would you like to come up and make a presentation? Thank you. Please state your name for the record and spell your last name, please.
Hi, Justin Beatty, B-A-T-E-Y. Good evening, esteemed commissioners and staff. My name is Justin Beatty, and I'm here tonight speaking on behalf of the applicant, Hageman Land Partners, the operating company for Beatty Homes. We are local home builders and custom home builders and community developers. My family, the Beatty family, has invested more than 40 years in building quality homes and neighborhoods that have made Rosedale a better place to live. Over the years, it has become increasingly difficult for the local custom home builder to compete with the national builders who produce cookie-cutter homes. Our unique business model creates an atmosphere where multiple custom home builders can work side by side to create a neighborhood with a wide variety of homes and architectural styles. Members of our local custom home building team include Beatty Homes, Soper Homes, Brian Rice Construction, Delfino Homes, Richard Pratt Construction, John Balfans Homes, Roberson Custom Homes, and Jeremy Gustafson Construction. Each member of our local builder team is a small business owner has been building quality homes in the Rosedale area for more than 10 years, and in many cases, more than 20 years. Individually or collectively, our builder team has built the following successful projects: Westdale, Westdale North, Westdale Classics, Olive Park, Polo Glen, Talladega, Trinity Estates, Willow Creek, and Manorwood. The Beatty family strongly believes that our approach to neighborhood development adds lasting value to both existing neighborhoods and our new additions. We hope we can continue that tradition with our request before your commission tonight. We are seeking an amendment to land use designation and zoning on 39 acres of a 78-acre parcel to facilitate subdivision of the land to create a new residential neighborhood containing approximately 107 estate quarter-acre lots. The project site is phase 3 of approved tentative tract map 6325. As currently permitted, the existing phase 3 allows for construction of 55 half-acre lots. It would connect to the adjacent subdivision to the east, Monterey Ranch, via coastal court. Additionally, the project site currently includes the RS Combining District, which authorizes the keeping of hoofed animals on site. In 2011 and 12, the Beatty family acquired 3 40-acre parcels collectively known as Wegas Ranch, now branded as Manorwood. This abandoned residential subdivision went through a number of foreclosures and sat idle for several years before we acquired it from an out-of-town bank. Over the last 7 years, we have worked swiftly and diligently to clean up these properties and get them online as soon as reasonably possible while maintaining a high level of standards. Along the way, we've struggled to combat dumping, vandalism, trespassing that has occurred on our property. In an effort to mitigate these issues, we posted no trespassing signs. We installed concrete block walls and perimeter chain link fencing. We installed concrete freeway K-rails to prevent the chain link fence from being knocked down. We have paid on average $10,000 per year to have illegal dumping hauled to proper landfills, and we have filed reports with the Kern County Sheriff's Department. Let me tell you, it's frustrating. Since completing phase 1 of the project, we are selling roughly 10 to 15 lots per year. At this absorption rate, in what we consider a strong housing market, it will be another 10 to 15 years before we start construction of the project in question. Therefore, we have been faced with a choice: sell the project to a national regional production builder or request a zone change to accommodate the market's demand for estate quarter-acre lots. Our vision for the project will allow potential buyers to have a 2,500 to 3,000 square foot home with a 3 or 4 car garage and room for RV parking, shop, and pool, all on an estate quarter-acre lot. This is not the vision that our competitors have. In 2012, about the same time the Beatty's purchased the Wegas Ranch Manorwood property, the national production builder D.R. Horton acquired phase 2 of the nearby Telus Ranch neighborhood at Meacham Road and Heath Road. That property consists of 80 acres of partially improved quarter and half-acre lots. With their lower cost capital and lower production quality homes, D.R. Horton was completely sold out by the end of 2016. This production building model reflected in their resale home values. Based on sales data from Bakersfield Multiple Listing Service, homes in the Talos Ranch neighborhood range in sales prices from $250,000 to $400,000 with an average sales price of approximately $130 a square foot. Compare this to Beatty neighborhoods with similar size lots and home sizes, where sales prices range from $400,000 to $800,000 with an average sales price of approximately $160 to $180 per square foot. Since purchasing the project site, The Beatty family has been approached by several national and regional production builders who wanted to purchase the property. But a quick profit has never been what the Beatty family is all about. With approval tonight, we fully intend to build out the project with our team of respected local home builders. This project represents one of 4 partially completed residential subdivisions the Beatty family purchased and transformed in the Roseville area during the economic downturn. It hasn't been as fast or even as profitable as others fix and flip projects or production builder plans. However, they are neighborhoods we are immensely proud of. In addition to county's notification letters, we conducted extensive neighborhood outreach, which included mailing a neighborhood letter inviting residents to contact us directly with questions and concerns, and on several occasions, meeting with area residents and property owners on an individual and group basis. In response to meeting with these residents of the Monterey Ranch neighborhood and county staff, we amended our request to address 2 major neighborhood concerns: increased neighborhood traffic and lot size compatibility. With regard to increased neighborhood traffic, extension of coastal court is not necessary for our project site. Rather, it was a condition of approval for the Monterey Ranch neighborhood as a second point of access for emergencies. In working with neighbors and staff, we have agreed to construct an emergency crash gate when the new residential track is constructed. This will prevent potential cut-through traffic while providing necessary secondary emergency access for Monterey Ranch. In regard to lot size compatibility, we don't believe a half-acre lot buffer is necessary. However, in meeting with the neighbors and staff, we have agreed to a 4.5-acre buffer area of half-acre lots along the east boundary of our project site adjacent to Monterey Ranch. Additionally, the elimination of the RS Combined District will further provide compatibility between the 2 neighborhoods. With regard to road conditions, area traffic, and pedestrian safety, as currently approved, our project with vested transportation impact fees will contribute $320,000 to capital road improvement projects in the Roseville area. With approval of our project tonight, that number would increase by a factor of 4.25 to over 1.3 million. These funds are above and beyond the project-specific improvements, which will result in asphalt paving, curb gutter, and sidewalks along all of Meacham Road frontage between Heath Road and Wegas Avenue. As noted in the staff report, approval of the project will allow for an expansion of infrastructure necessary to sustain development while maintaining the rural characteristics of Rosedale. Finally, to further maintain the look and feel of the neighborhood, we, the applicant, have agreed to record similar CC&Rs to those in the Monterey Ranch neighborhood. My family and I were born and raised in Bakersfield and plan to continue to live and do business in our community for many generations to come. For that reason, we have worked with Dr. Gordon Knipp of the Sierra Club to incorporate additional design elements into our new residential project. These are not required by the County of Kern, State of California, or San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District. These design elements will reduce greenhouse gases, improve air quality, quality of life, and make homes more affordable to maintain and operate. Marquee design elements include energy-saving street design layouts so that at least 75% of the homes utilize north-south orientations, clean energy 4kW solar systems that will include at least 25% of the homes constructed. 100% of the homes within the project will be pre-wired to support electrical vehicle charging stations. 25% of the homes will actually include electrical vehicle charging stations. 100% of the homes will utilize low water usage or drought-tolerant shrubs and trees, and all homes shall exclusively utilize energy-efficient LED exterior lighting. In summary, we're asking the Commission to amend the land use designation and zoning of this property so that we can create a quality residential neighborhood that will improve homeowners' lives as well as the Rosedale community for decades to come. Further, we support staff's recommendation and feel the planning process has served its purpose in providing a forum for the project applicants and stakeholders to work together in creating a better project than any party could visualize individually. I would like to recognize the efforts of all county staff in preparing this project proposal, and specifically the outstanding efforts of the Planning Division Chief, Craig Murphy. Mr. Murphy did a tremendous job listening to the concerns of the applicant, neighbors, staff, and other stakeholders to arrive at the project in its current form. My father, Brian, and I are here to answer any question members of the Commission may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we'd like to hear from anyone here in opposition to the project. Okay, we'll get to them first. So, okay. So you can come up and if you're neutral or in support of the request, go ahead and state your name for the record and spell your last name, please.
My name is Frank Wilkinson, spelled Wilkinson. I want to thank you, Madam Chair and fellow commissioners, for the opportunity to speak tonight. I'm a resident that's right along the fence line, if you will, between the two developments, and I wanted to personally thank Mr. Murphy as well as Mr. Beatty for taking the time to meet with our neighborhood, fully in support of the recommendation prepared for your consideration tonight, and look forward to working with Mr. Beatty to talk about some of the D concessions that we've had some conversations about, and just excited to not have a dirt lot behind me.
Thank
you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Good evening, Commission, Madam Chair. My name is Linda Irby. It's spelled I-R-B-Y. My husband, Russ, and I have been residents of the Monterey Ranch since 2009. As mentioned, the majority of the residents have been opposed to the rezoning of the half-acre to the quarter-acre lots for various reasons that are included in the staff recommendations report. Residents reach out to the Planning Department as well as Supervisor Couch and Maggard with concerns. The Supervisor's office recommended we reach out to Mr. Beatty for a meeting. We want to thank Mr. Beatty and Mr. Murphy for taking the time to meet with us in our community over the past several weeks to validate our concerns and try to come to some resolution. Though we are not in complete agreement, Mr. Murphy has been able to compromise to a degree of satisfaction as set forth in the coastal court shall be a crash gate. The easterly 4.5 acres adjacent Monterey Ranch for the remaining half-acre lots with the 150-foot buffer between the two developments. We feel this is a good compromise. During the meeting with Mr. Beatty, expressed his willingness to enter into concessions concerning the planning for the proposed Moon Ranch development. I know the meeting is not part of the planning approval phase, but the concessions would be a condition of part of the consent for the rezoning approval, which Mr. Beatty mentioned as far as the concessions for the CC&Rs for Monterey Ranch. So we're in agreement with that. Mr. Beatty is an outstanding local builder that provides quality homes that are desirable. We would rather see a Beatty home than some typical tract builder that has no stake in our community. We appreciate his talent and his efforts to keep Kern County a desirable place to live and raise a family. And I thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Are there any additional speakers? Doesn't look like it. Any staff comments? Any comments from the commission?
Well, I do.
You always have a comment.
Well, I've worked on the Western Rosedale specific plan for over 20 years now. In my time on Bakersfield City Planning Commission as well as on the Kern County Planning Commission. So I understand the master plan on the specific development for the Rosedale plan, including the equestrian trails, some of the areas with and without sidewalks, trying to get a country estate feeling out on the west side area that people were happy to live in, buy their properties and enjoy life out there. So I understand the originality of putting the whole plan together and the developments that have gone out there. I'm just old school, I guess, when I start looking at things and I'm thinking, listening to my father say, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Half-acre estate lots, there's a lot of people that want to buy half-acre estate type lots so they can have their animals on it. They can enjoy a nice roominess around them, away from their neighbors. They can barbecue without people yelling and screaming at them and saying, turn the music down. So it troubles me to see this, but I'm listening to the neighborhood. I went out there and reviewed all this area. I think what Mr. Murphy and the residents have come up with buffer zones may be a good settlement for putting this thing together and creating half and quarter continuity for the acreage that's out there. But again, you do it for one, you do it for all. So you do this, and then there's a next one, and the next one, and the next one. and they multiply, and you get the hopscotch housing of the smaller 1,000 to 1,500 square foot homes and quarter-acre lots. And then you see the two-story, the half-acre lot next door or down the street, or on both sides of you, and you think, why did they let them do that? So I've been criticized for allowing that to happen in the past. And I just get to a point of saying, why change what's there, already zoned? Why not just go in and take what's there and build it out into a really nice neighborhood? So I support the project based on what I'm hearing tonight, what I read in my package, and what planning staff and the residents have come out with. They live there, they know what it is, they're telling us this will work. So from that standpoint, I'd bend over to the other side and say, well, I could support the project based on that. So I just kind of wanted to get that on the table. Thank you,
I knew
Madam
it
Chair.
looked like you had something you wanted to get off your chest, so. Thank you, Commissioner Sprague. With that, I'm going to close the public hearing, and then I'll entertain a motion. But I just wanted to say that commend the Beatty family and staff for the work that you all put in with the local residents. These are the types of meetings and discussions that we like to have, where folks have really done their work and worked together and worked on a compromise, and folks are comfortable with it. So I commend all of you, including the local residents who braved the rain tonight to make it out here to participate in the process. So thank you.
I would just echo that sentiment. I think our community is lucky to have builders like the Beatties who are willing to work with the neighbors to make it work and to build a good product, build good homes. So I support this project fully.
I agree as well. This is the way this process is supposed to work. You know, people have rights as individual property owners, and to see people come together as government agencies and residents who are out there obviously concerned. I mean, like I say, this is exactly the way the process is supposed to work. I commend the staff and the residents for working together for a solution that fits everybody's needs here.
Madam Chair, I do have one more question, Mr. Murphy.
Go right ahead.
Mr. Murphy, the half-acre lot buffers will still maintain the availability to put animals, hoofed animals and things on. Is that correct after this map is all completed?
Commissioner Sprague, through the chair, as being recommended by staff, no. Staff is recommending for that 4.5 easterly portion, staff is recommending disapproval of the requested zone change to E1 quarter and approval of a more restrictive zone change to E1 half. So based on staff's recommendation, we would be recommending your commission take off the RS on that quarter because the Monterey Ranch community does not have the RS designation either. So that would make sure that both from across the fence line, they're the same. So we are recommending that that come off the proposed project.
Mr. Murphy, then I have a request, if we can do this from the dais, that when they do build the homes and they do their brochures and they get their preliminary title reports and people go out to buy these houses under the subdivision rules and regulations that they've created, that they state in bold print that no hoofed animals, no other animals will be allowed on these half-acre properties, because they're going to go out there and see a lot of half-acre lots that have code that allow them to have animals on it. And sometimes they are told, oh, sure, you can have hoofed animals out there, goats and sheep and horses and things like that. And they buy the house and move in and start putting animals on their property, and sooner or later somebody comes along and says, hey, you can't do that. So that's why I'm asking the question, and I'm a little concerned on that. I realize with quarter-acre lot houses on the other side of the buffer that the neighbors over there might not like that, but I'm concerned of keeping the continuity of the neighborhood, and that's why I'm asking that question.
Commissioner Sprague, through the chair, so a couple different things. The request is being proposed by staff would keep the continuity of the neighborhood and the adjacent properties. Now, there could be a street a half a mile away that maybe has this RN zoning, that allows for the animals or something along those lines. My recommendation would be, if you're okay with it, is that I understand your comments. I do believe that that's something that can be incorporated as part of the subdivision map when it comes forward. Typically we don't necessarily specify something you're not allowed to do when you don't have the zoning for it. But given your concerns, I do believe that that could be something that could be incorporated on the track map when it comes to you. And/or I know that the applicant has heard that, and they are going to look at potentially identifying CC&Rs, and they may be able to incorporate that into the CCR as well, that, so a resident that purchases a lot realizes that, as proposed, there's not the ability of the zoning in place to allow for the hooved animals. I don't know if that would satisfy your concerns or not.
It would, and I just want future, original owners and future owners to understand and be able to see the code and requirements of you can do or you can't do for that particular item. And I think what you're suggesting works well. Thank you, Mr. Murphy. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Now, do I have a motion?
Go ahead.
Rod, I just want to make, I don't think we need to do that, to have, getting that involved with how the builder is going to end up developing their property.
We're not doing that tonight. We're coming back with a track map with recommendations on it. I'm merely sending out a suggestion for the developer to consider before they do their track map.
Okay.
So it's really not on the dais tonight.
You're just making a suggestion here from the dais for the applicant to consider as they move forward.
Correct.
Okay.
So that might come back to us.
It will in the track map. So with that, if there are no other comments by other commissioners, I would make a motion to approve item 2 as read into the record by staff, along with all the comments and suggestions.
A motion by Commissioner Sprague. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Please cast your votes.
All ayes, motion carries.
Madam Chair, before you guys move forward, just because I know there's interest, this item will be considered by the Board of Supervisors on Tuesday, April 10th at 2 p.m. at these same chambers. But Tuesday, April 10th is when this would be scheduled to then be considered by the Kern County Board of Supervisors, as this recommendation is an action, or is a advisory action tonight.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.